Hi everyone, I'm Squid and welcome to the first deep dive for TFT set 13, and today we're going to look at the best way to get Kog'Maw to that 5.0 attack speed. So it's been a while, but it's definitely good to be back with a full deep dive with lovely spreadsheets and analysis. And today is the backline carry that could be in your nightmares. So in this video I'm going to go through Kog'Maw's ability and then the different items that could be used in combination. Now if you just want to find out the best 2 items to get Kog'Maw to that attack speed 5 mark, please use the chapters below. But for the rest of you, let's take a look at Kog'Maw. So in set 13, Kog'Maw is a 3-cost magic carry that has the Sniper and Automata trait. Now Automata is a really good trait because every time it attacks, it stacks orbs, and when it hits 20 orbs, it will unleash magic damage every time. Now to help with this, every time Kog'Maw casts their ability, they gain 25 attack speed. So getting to 5 attack speed is very doable without the need for that triple Rage Blade. So now let's take a look at the items that can help Kog'Maw reach this level. So there are 5 different items that can be useful. The first and most obvious is Rage Blade. Rage Blade provides an initial 10% attack speed buff, and every time a champion attacks, it gains an extra 5% attack speed, and this can stack up to that limit of 5. Next up is Red Buff, which although does not have the stacking ability of Rage Blade, it does have a higher initial boost and other bonuses like burning the enemy team. Nash's is probably one of the most complicated attack speed items, as it does provide only an initial 10% boost, but then once a champion does cast their ability, they then gain 60% attack speed for the next 5 seconds. So as long as they can cast their ability in those next 5 seconds, this is going to be a really good item, and Kog'Maw fits that criteria. We now move on to the mana items, and realistically there are 2 choices. The first, this Spear of Shojin, which provides an initial buff of plus 15 mana, and then for each attack provides 5 extra mana. And more crucially, from back in set 12, excess mana rolls over to the next ability cast. So if the champ had 30 out of 40 mana, plus 15 would get to that 40 mark, but there would be 5 left over, which will be there ready on the next attack. So rather than starting at 0 mana, you are at 5. And finally, we have Blue Buff, which has had a slight change from when I looked at it last. It now provides an initial of 30 mana, and then after every ability cast, it grants an initial plus 10 mana. Now there are other attack speed and mana items, and obviously there are the Radiant versions, which are an instant get if you can get them. But I haven't looked at them in this video because either I didn't think their mana was high enough or their attack speed was high enough. So now we shall have a quick look at how I calculated these results, and then I shall order the best 2 items to get Kog'Maw's attack speed up to that cap as quick as possible. So to help calculate this, I have created what some might consider a beautiful spreadsheet, others might consider hell. So I have 2 tabs, one which focuses on just attack speed. They are slightly easier to calculate. One thing to consider is that I have assumed our champs are not getting hit, because in TFT you gain mana for each attack you absorb, but I'm not going to try and calculate that because that's too much. So let's assume it's a perfect world where my backline is not attacked. Then there's the Mana Items tab, which requires columns dedicated to mana calculation using Mod 40 calculations. If you are interested in diving further into this, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll make a video going through that spreadsheet, but that is super nerdy. But for now, there's a link in the description for you to review. Now, it's the moment of truth. Let's look at the top 3 quickest builds to get to that attack speed cap. So in 3rd place is Rage Blade and Nash's. This gets to the speed cap in 20.8 seconds and would provide a good amount of ability power from the Rage Blade and the Nash's. One thing that might affect this is if your champ gets stunned. I think the timer for that Nash's bonus would run out at that point. In 2nd place is Rage Blade and Spear of Shojin. Now this makes sense because Rage Blade is providing a consistent attack speed, ramp up, and Spear of Shojin is allowing Kog to cast their ability quicker with less attacks, so that it will ramp up in 20.4 seconds. And in first, it is actually none of the attack speed items. It is a combination of Spear of Shojin and blue buff. This gets that attack speed cap in a brisk 19.4 seconds. Now this might be surprising, but for every 2 attacks, Kog'Maw gets to cast their ability, which grants him that 25% boost of attack speed. This is 5 times more than any stack of Rage Blade. So making the most of this ability is why Spear of Shojin and blue buff is the winner. Now I will say that is a very expensive tier heavy build, as you're going to need 3 tiers and 1 sword, so you might want to prioritize the other things, but hey, I'm just doing this in the name of science. So there we have it, a result which is actually a genuine surprise to me. I thought double Rage Blade or Rage Blade and Spear of Shojin would be the top dogs, but hey, I'm glad to be back doing these videos. Now, I'm not infallible. If you think I've made an error or spot something wrong with my spreadsheet, please let me know in the comments. I always want to try and improve where I can. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time everyone, I'll see you in the arena.